Live here tonight on the American Sim Network. It is the WFO Racing League. I'm Matt Egan, joined tonight by Bradley Cooper, and we have got something special in qualifying for you tonight. Elimination qualifying. You watch Troy Cook coming out doing some fancy tire work as he's trying to get the optimal tire temps for his qualifying run, because here's the thing tonight, folks. 28 drivers make the main field, and we have about 31 attempting to qualify their way in. Well, Bradley, what do you expect to see?
Well, based off of the splits and practice, you can pretty much guarantee that most of the regulars are going to make it in here. We have a few new faces. We got Joseph Andujar. He's a new guy. He's put down a 24 flat, so if he can run that again, he'll probably make the split. I don't know, man. A lot of guys were in the 23s. There wasn't very many guys off the pace, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that is for sure. They go down into turns 1 and 2 now. Troy Cook does. Fastest on the speedway, 23.8. Larry Anderson second quick. Troy Cook looking to have a good lap. Aiden Young, fastest at the moment. What does Troy Cook do on lap number 2?
I think that second lap's going to be a little bit quicker. Yep, he's picked up another 10th. I think Aiden's going to beat him, though.
Well, the big thing is going to be these drivers that are posting the back of the field. Driver like, say, Matt Skipper, he's on his second lap. Let's see, he's got to be quicker than 24.5. 24.103, that'll put him firmly in 18th, hopefully out of the way of being elimination. Tyler Boyles, he's in trouble, slowest car at the moment. He's got to pick up the pace.
He's right on that split.
He's going to be on the bubble. He will be the bubble in a moment, soon as Ryan Daniels puts in a lap, which he's going to do here. We know Ryan Daniels is quick, so like I said, I expect Troy will become that bubble. And yes, he does. So, Troy, your new bubble driver, Cody Martin, is 29th.
Yep. So
Cody Martin trying to race his way in on time. I think he tagged the wall.
Oh, it's interesting. Is Garrett a admin in this league?
I think he might be. Tyler Brooks, Boyles is out. Burt Wilson in. Cody Martin, no good. 30th on the speed charts. Davey Lamont, 26.
Oh, Burt Wilson got knocked on that one.
Yep, Wilson out. And I think that's all 31 drivers that will attempt to qualify. Hemlinger, Hamlet, I believe admins, and then of course you with me up in the broadcast booth here tonight.
That's very interesting, man.
So Lamont, and he'll go to 6th. How about that? But that'll put Darryl Leisure, 34 car, 28th. Burt Wilson knocked out into 29th, unfortunately. Tyler Brooks, or Boyles, I don't know why I keep wanting to say Brooks, but he's knocked out. Cody Martin. Well, Cody Martin had a good attempt, and his first lap, when Martin's first lap was 29th, you knew he was in trouble.
I mean, some guys go out there and just keep the tires warm. You can pretty much guarantee your second lap with this tire model is going to be faster, but yeah, it sucks. You got 3 guys within 3/10 of each other, and they're all just outside the field there. But that's what happens, man.
Well, that's the go or go home racing, and they unfortunately pack it up and go on to next week. Of course, still chase eligible or playoff eligible, whatever you want to call it. But that is going to hurt them in their points pursuit, not being able to race tonight. So they'll have to put on a better show next week. And you see some fast drivers from last week. Adam McKinney, Hal Amy, Jared Cox. They're towards the back end of that field as well. When you consider it, sitting back there around 20th position.
I
That's
don't
not...
think that you really want to be in the middle of this pack. There's just too much that can happen in front of you. Like we were talking before the race, we have two turns particular, turn 2 and turn 4. And turn 2 isn't as bad. The cars will wash down the backstretch. But turn 4, there's not a lot of room for those cars to crash. So if anything happens in front of you, you don't have anywhere to go. And if 2 or 3 cars get collected in it, you really have nowhere to go. So it's going to be interesting. And I definitely wouldn't want to be from about 6th place to 24th place.
Yeah, that is for sure.
They're wrapping up qualifying here. They're going to do their pre-race meeting. Got about 4 minutes before we go green.
Yeah, 13 minutes left in the session, of course. Now, what do you expect to see in the main race here tonight with only 28 drivers in it? What do you expect to see?
Well, hopefully these guys got an understanding of what this track is going to do. It looks partly cloudy. I'm looking here at the race info. The track temp is right around 84 degrees, but it's going to change. We've got dynamic track data on. We've got dynamic weather. These track temps are going to change, and this place is concrete, so it doesn't change as much as like an asphalt track would, but it still can get really slippery. These K&N cars seem to stagger and turn a lot more with the throttle. The truck is very tight here, but I'm willing to bet that these cars are going to be really squirrely the first 10 laps before they get them under them. So it's going to be really exciting for the first 10 laps.
Yeah, definitely. It should be something to watch. Who would be your pick to win this race? I'm going to go with the 69 of Aiden Young. This is probably the fastest we've seen him all season, now 3 weeks into it. So I feel like, you got that fast car, might have something to work with here tonight.
That's a good pick, man. Aiden's always a top 5 guy. That's tough because you look at even just qualifying. You got Troy Cook up there. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that Ricky Fagone gets his first win tonight.
Definitely a good pick. A little bit different than, say, the standard pick of maybe Mason Weitzel, Vern Bradley, one of the, one of those drivers, even Joseph Andujar, your mainstay fast guys. But I feel like Dover's the kind of track that, kind of rewards first-time winners or newcomer challenges, and I think we're going to see a lot of that here tonight. I think that's what's going to be key here, is being able to adapt and overcome to new challenges and new strategies.
Well, I think priority 1 is avoiding that wreck on the backstretch. Because it's going to happen. Somebody's going to hit the wall, and it's not going to be intentional, but when it happens, you want to be in the right place. It's beyond your control. You just got to get through it and avoid other people's mayhem. So I think anybody in the top 5 is in that safe zone right now. So I'm looking at Vern. He's qualified 13th. He's kind of back there, and that's kind of the danger zone that I was talking about, where you don't really want to be there. It's going to take a lot of patience with some guys. If you're faster than them, you don't want to be to their outside. Going into turn 2, and then you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know if they have enough talent to get down the other side of the track.
Well, we'll see just how it all plays out. 10 minutes left till we go green here tonight. When do you think we see that first caution? That's, of course, going to be a big question to ask at Dover on 150 laps. So we're going to see at least 1 or 2. My guess, it's going to be within the first 20 laps. Drivers are going to be adapting to the track conditions as they were over practice, but track's going to change a little bit. Weather changes a little bit over the course of qualifying, especially over the course of the next 10 minutes. No cars on track. Track's going to cool down a little bit, so the drivers are going to have to adapt to that. I think that might bring up looser race cars, maybe the potential for an early caution.
Well, with a concrete surface, it doesn't change like an asphalt, like we said, and it's going to be a pretty constant temperature until you get cars running on it. Once you get the track rubbered up, that's when it gets really bad. I don't know what the starting track state is, but it looks at it. It's about 20% usage right now. That's going to be, plus you got your fuel limit at 50%. So these cars are really light in the rear end. And those two things combined, it's going to be kind of like Bristol in essence.
Yeah,
A tight
daytime
groove.
Bristol anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be a single groove. You're going to have to make your run down the straightaway and get somebody on the entry of the turn, because you don't want to be on the outside of a guy coming out of these turns. It's not fun.
And you look at the information for Dover International Speedway, a little bit over a mile long, 39 feet above sea level, and you'll notice 85 degrees was the starting track temperature, 2-mile-an-hour winds coming in from the north, so very calm winds. So luckily, drivers aren't going to have to figure out how to deal with a tailwind or a headwind, as there won't be too much of that to worry about, but still a thing that they're going to have to think about here tonight, with that being a factor. Countdown to green is on. Only 8 minutes to go till we see the drop of that green flag here tonight, and I'm sure everyone watching is anticipating as much as we are. Welcome to the ASN Countdown to Green. Those of you out there watching this, let's talk a little bit about Dover International Speedway. The track recently celebrated 50 years in real life, so historic racetrack in real life. It is laid host to NASCAR, and at one point even IndyCar graced the Dover International Speedway a while back. It wasn't called IndyCar back then, and now the digital incarnation. Very, very great racetrack. And what's your favorite part about Dover? I gotta ask that.
I like the turn 1, turn 2 walkover. The spectators can walk over the track and stand above the track as cars go under them. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know of any other track that has that. I can tell you one thing I don't like about Dover, and that's the pit road speed limit. That's going to be
Yeah,
a
only
big variable
35
here
miles an
tonight.
hour.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal tonight, because you trying to get that thing from 150 down to 35 in the middle of a turn is very, very hard.
Well, that's probably where we'll see one, if not more, of our crashes tonight if we have green flag pit stops. Another interesting thing about Dover, kind of unique to Dover International Speedway, well, not entirely unique, but unique among the short tracks to Dover and Bristol, the front stretch is banked. I think it's around 9 degrees of banking on the front straightaway at Dover International. So it's a self-cleaning racetrack, meaning if the spin starts at the top of the racetrack, it'll go down to the bottom of the racetrack, and depending on how fast that car hits the inside wall, it may just go right back up to the top. So very hard to dodge a wreck here at Dover, lending to its name the Monster Mile. Very tricky racetrack to navigate for these drivers. Only 5 minutes remain in this qualifying session. You notice some cloud cover coming over the racetrack. If that sticks around to the green, do you think the drivers are hoping for or not hoping for?
Well, like we said, it's a concrete surface. It's going to take a lot of sun or a lot of clouds to really change the temperature of it. If it stays cloud cover throughout, the rest to the green, I think maybe it'll drop a degree or two. I really want to pay attention to what these drivers are going to do later on in the race. I think you're going to see that bottom groove rubber up too much. It's going to be a lot harder to stay down there. Whoever can master the art of staying down on the bottom of the track in the long run, I think they're going to benefit the most, because one, that sets up your exit so you don't hit the wall, and two, it keeps people from getting to your inside and kind of like bullying you up the track to get to, get that pass. So whoever can master that, I think they're going to come out successful and guaranteed a top 10 for sure.
Yeah, that's a good estimate there. Now, here's the really big question. We haven't really touched on it tonight, the possibility of blowing out tires. We saw it at Las Vegas. If you follow ASN throughout the week and you watch our other events, we saw it Sunday night at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The Xfinity cars we broadcast, they had tire failures towards the end of the run, and Vegas is brutal on tires. Dover is with the way the short track races, so I wonder if that's going to be in the back of some of these drivers' minds is, hey, maybe we lose a tire here towards the end of the run. Maybe we have to run her a little bit gentle to minimize that chance. I think that might be a factor too.
It's a bigger deal here with concrete. You got a lot more abrasive surface and more marbles. You're going to be steering a lot harder. It's not so much hell in the heat, but you're going to find that a lot of these one groove tracks, once they wear in, these guys are going to be steering and turning a lot harder. It's gonna wear that right front out. So we could have a right front tire go down. I think more than likely we're going to have a guy cut a tire because he pushed a fender in on it.
Yeah, that is a distinct possibility as well, with drivers beating and banging for position. Again, only 28 drivers taking the green. Your elimination drivers, Burt Wilson, Tyler Broyles, and Cody Martin, all drivers that'll get sent to the back, or, well, not sent to the back, that'll get sent back on to the haulers after qualifying in 3 minutes' time. Unfortunate for them. So 28 drivers to take the green here tonight. Now, what's your opinion on that? I want to get your opinion on the go or go home thing. I think it's good. You got to kind of have smaller fields, especially at a short track. You don't want to have too large of a field.
Well, I've been with WFO for 3 seasons. This will be my 3rd one. And every year it gets more and more popular. More and more people are trying to join. And it's like Vern and me had a discussion. We talked about the field size and, new people coming in. We're always happy to have new people. That means that we're growing as a league. And it's nothing personal to anyone. We cut the field down, I think, for the quality of the races and for time allotment. We have a limited amount of time. As you guys saw, we raced Daytona and Las Vegas. Those races took a long time with 38, 39 cars starting them races. There was 14 cautions, I believe, at Vegas. So it's not necessarily the field size. It's just there's so many cars and variables to cause an accident, or there might be something minor happen, but guy hits a wall. He's got to wait for 28 cars to pass him before he can come back down on the track, and sometimes that's not possible. So I think the quality of the racing gets better with a limited field, and it kind of makes other guys push themselves a little harder. I think the competition changes a little bit, so it makes it more interesting. Definitely makes it more exciting for us to watch up here. It gives us something to talk about. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with you on that. Well, just a minute till we grid up for 150 laps of action from the Monster Mile here in Dover, Delaware. I want to thank everyone for joining us here tonight to watch some amazing racing from the WFO Racing League here on the American Sim Network in partnership with the WFO Racing